G'day ladies and germs, Conor here from C-Dubs Media, back from Cambodia. I normally say back with another video, but been doing that for 6 years. Recently went on a trip to Cambodia for photography, street photography. And man, do I love travel, and man, do I love taking photos. It just takes me away, it takes me out of my world, puts me in a different place. So to be put in a different place through my artistic release, but also be in another country is really, it's the best feeling for me. And there's a feeling I get when I go to a distant city and I feel like I'm being romanced by a city. Getting to a new city to take photos always comes with a bit of like excitement and anxiety. It's like a kid going to school for the first day, and that's reflected in my photography. You know, like I arrived and it was hot and the sun was setting and it just had this mystic feeling about it. It was a bit of a street photographer's dream, but for me, the first few days, like 1 kilometer from my hotel feels like 60 kilometers. And I sort of geofence myself in my mind, you know, like then I realize after a couple of days that I've just been walking around the block basically, and I start to explore a little bit more and explore with my photography and the locations I go to. So the first 2 days are a little bit more hit and miss, a little bit more miss than hit, I would say. But it is my place. It's my happy place. So anyway, I'm waking up in this hot, dry, mysterious place. It just adds to the allure of being somewhere special. And after a couple of days, my photography starts to get a bit of a roll on, and I start to sort of become more in tune with my surroundings, a little bit less scared, a little bit less intimidated by the environment. And what makes that easier is the people. And Cambodia has the most amazing people. They are very welcoming, very kind, very helpful, lots of smiles, and basically just a really warm place. Warm in their culture, not just the temperature. And then as I'm doing my photography, I start to be in tune more, I start to interact more. There's more hello, more smiling, more waving to people, more looking at people in the eye.
Oh.
How are you? You doing photo? It's good. What is your name?
Yeah, my name is Mao.
Imai.
My name is Mao.
Imai.
Yeah.
Conor.
And you?
Conor.
Okay, thank
Conor.
you. Oh my God.
You like it?
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. And I start to get that back in my photos, and people start to smile and even pose for photos. And one thing I found is that in Cambodia, especially in Phnom Penh, people would actually ask to have their photo taken. It was quite common for people to come up to me and say, you know, can I be in your photo? That was cool. I liked that. And then I also start to get a bit creative with my photography, the black and white, slow shutter speed, maybe changing some of the settings as well. But I tend to always stick with one lens. It's a 35mm lens on my Canon R6 Mark II. And so far that's my go-to just because of the power that the camera has. But my favorite street photography camera is actually the Canon R50, which is there. You can see that right there. Yeah, because it's so light. But if I put the 35mm on, it then becomes 50, and I start to sort of lose a bit of the magic that I get with the R6. So 35mm on a full frame camera, that's where I'm at when it comes to my street photography. So as my anxiety decreased, my excitement grew, and I just let the nature of the country take over. But after a few days of wandering around, and I started to get a bit of wanderlust again and decided to take a 6 or 7 hour train ride from Phnom Penh to Sihanoukville. And I'm glad I did this. I think it cost me $6, thinking I was getting like my own little private seat, but I wasn't. I was just on a rickety old train. I think it had 2 carriages. Most of the windows didn't work, or if they did work, it took a lot of effort to get them to shut or open. It was a lovely train ride, and I got to see a lot of the countryside that I wouldn't have seen if I'd just taken a quick flight there, or maybe a taxi. I would have just been stuck on the highway. So I got to see some things that I wouldn't have otherwise seen. Also got to slow down a little bit. I made it to Sihanoukville. It was an amazing train ride, and probably the best part of Sihanoukville was leaving. It's a lost city. It's overrun with gambling and influence there from other countries that maybe might not have Sihanoukville's best interests at heart. And as I walked through the city and the beaches and got to explore a little bit of this coastal town, it was just littered with rubbish. Rubbish in the ocean, rubbish in the lakes, rubbish in the streams, rubbish all over the streets, and no one seemed to care. And I was a bit overwhelmed with this. I wanted to pick it all up, but what am I going to do with it? There's not even bins to put it in. So there's lots of buildings that had been built, half-built and abandoned, and I mean like big buildings like resorts and stuff like that. There's some Chinese casinos there, so there's a lot of that financial influence there as well. It was horrible anyway. And my point is, it screwed up my photography for 2 days. Like, I just didn't want to go outside. I didn't even want to take photos. There's people pickpocketing out the front of the hotel. I mean, not people, kids pickpocketing. But after 2 days, I gathered my senses a little bit and decided to just make the most of it. And I started walking a lot. And I documented a lot of the rubbish. I took a lot of photos. Just a general feel of the place. I tried to capture it on the camera. I don't think the photos do it justice. Like, it really wasn't a good vibe there. But I took some photos, and here's a couple that look actually Instagrammable. You know, Instagram is famous for making everything look beautiful and amazing. So I took some of those. I could trick myself and say that I stayed at a beautiful location, but the reality is it was shitty, and I couldn't wait to get out of there. So after 4 days there, I got the hell out of there. Then I took 2 buses, total of 9 hours of travel from Sihanoukville to Phnom Penh and then out to Siem Reap, which was amazing. so I had this amazing experience when I first got there in the capital, and then an amazing experience in Siem Reap. And here again, I was faced with the trauma of, do I become a tourist and do the touristy shit, or do I just pound the pavement and take photos? And I really wanted to do both, because in being the tourist, I met some amazing people, some amazing travelers from all over the world, Japan, America, France, Australia, some really cool people. And I wouldn't have met those if I had just been the little street photographer hermit that I am normally. So that was nice. I got to see the eighth wonder of the world. I got to go on some mountain bike tours, and I also pounded the streets. And we're talking like day 8, day 9 now of being in a foreign country and really pounding the pavement, doing a lot of street photography. And once I hit the streets there in Siem Reap, it was like my shutter button was one of those morphine drip release buttons, you know. I was clicking, and I was taking a lot of photos, and I would just walk the streets and I'd see a dark laneway or alleyway with people in it. I would walk down it, and I might feel anxious about going down there, but I knew I was going to get some photos down there that I wasn't going to get out on the main street. So that's how I try to push myself to get photos that I wouldn't normally get. See somewhere? Feel scared? Walk in there. Don't turn around and walk away, because you'll miss an opportunity. In my whole time in Cambodia, one person asked me not to take photos or told me to stop taking photos, and I was taking a photo of an old scale in the marketplace. Just a scale that you would put fruit on and then sell it to someone. And I don't know why, but he said no photo, no photo. I don't know if he meant in general or of the scales. Anyway, I just said no worries and walked away. I did not want to push it. That was my opportunity to show that I was being respectful. So I did that. I will be going back to Cambodia to do more street photography. I absolutely loved my time walking around, and I left with a feeling that I had turned a leaf, that I was on a new journey. Even though I was leaving, I felt like I'd opened a part of my mind up that had previously been shut. And I wouldn't have got that if I wasn't traveling. I learned a lot from this experience. Siem Reap gave me an opportunity to succeed as a street photographer in a personal way. Like, I felt my own personal success in doing street photography there. It's important to escape the 9 to 5 of our horrendous careers and Western ways of consuming the minutes of our lives by going to work. I'm pretty sure that's not what the fuck we were put on this planet for, but somehow we seem to be obsessed with doing it. I'm going to try and take more time away from that and give it back to myself. Just as humans, even if you're not taking photos, for fuck's sake, take some minutes back in your life and do something fun with it, something exciting, something rewarding. Anyway, I'm going to close on my top 3 photos of the trip. These photos, I get enjoyment out of them. They mean a lot to me. For some reasons, I can't even explain it, but I just feel happy when I see these photos that I took. Let me know what you think about my photos. You can subscribe if you want or not. You can hit the like button, or you can leave a rude comment or a nice comment. I'm a bit over the whole YouTube algorithm feed me bullshit. It pisses me off and it's not rewarding. So I'm putting this out because I enjoy creating stuff. Anyway, from one street photographer to another, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you all in my next video. Check ya.